Have a pleasant evening, everyone. Please allow me to introduce myself first. My name is Angelica Busiko Aki, and I am the first reporter. So, please pay attention. Our topic is all about human resource decision making and organization. Ethics in human resource management, it means, refers to the moral principles and standards that guides HR professionals in their decision making and actions. It involves ensuring fairness, justice, and respect for all employees while promoting a positive or productive with productive work environment. So here's an example about ethics in HRM. An employee, John, accuses his manager, Jane, of favoritism in promotions. John claims that Jane promotes his colleague, who is also her close friend. Deep side, John having better qualification and performance. Ethics and human resource management. Fairness and equality, ensuring that policies and practices are applied equitably, providing equal opportunities and avoiding discrimination. So it means fairness is treat all employees equally and without bias. Number two is integrity and transparency. Acting honesty and openly in all decisions, particularly in areas like compensation and disciplinary actions. So it means communicate clearly and honest with employees. Number three is respect for dignity and rights, treating all employees with respect, recognizing their inherent worth and upholding their privacy and rights, value diversity and promote inclusivity. Next is right sizing and organization. Is the strategic reconstructing process of adjusting its workplace, structures, and resources to best align with current and future business goals, aiming for optimal efficiency, productivity, and profitability. Right sizing, also known as reconstructing or downsizing, is the process of adjusting an organization's workplace and resource to better align with its business objectives, improve efficiency, and reduce cost. It involves analyzing an organization, structures, processes, and personnel to determine the optimal size and shape of the workforce. Number one is strategic goals. To achieve optimal efficiency and adapt to changing business needs or market condition. A strategic goals is a long-term objective that aligns with an organization's missions and vision. It's a specific mission and relevant and time-bound or SMART target that drives business decisions and action. For example, increase market share by 15% within the next 2 years by expanding product offerings and enhancing customer experience. Number two is beyond downsizing. While it can involve staff reductions, right sizing is a broader concept that downsizing, which is often a reactive measures to cut costs. Number two is beyond downsizing. Refers to the organizational transformations that go beyond mere cost-cutting measures. It involves rethinking business models, processes, and strategies to drive growth, innovation, and sustainability. For example, instead of just laying off employees, a company might reconstruct its operation to focus on high growth areas, invest in new technologies, and develop new products. Number three is focus on alignment. The primary goal is to ensure the organization has the right numbers of employees with the right skills in the right position. As comprehensive reconstructing. This can include adjusting management structures, cutting redundancies, and streamlining processes to support a new business goals. So it means comprehensive reconstructing involves making significant changes to an organization's structures, operations, and strategy to improve performance, efficiency, and compe- competitiveness. For example, a company might undergo comprehensive reconstructuring by reorganizing departments and teams, implementing new technologies and processes, developing new business models or products, changing leadership or governance structures. Number 5 is proactive approach. Unlike downsizing, which is often a response to financial difficulties, right-sizing can be a proactive measure taken during both boom times and economic downturns. Anticipating and addressing challenges or opportunities would become critical. It requires organization to be forward-thinking, acceptable, and responsive to changing circumstances. For example, a company might take a proactive approach by conducting market research to anticipate customer needs, invest, investing in employees' development to build future skill, implementing sustainable practices to reduce environmental impact. So, potential actions refers to specific steps an organization to take to achieve its strategic goals, address challenges, or capitalize on opportunities. For example, potential action might include number 1 is invest, investing in new technologies or equipment. Number 2 is developing new products or services. Number 3, expanding into new markets or geographies. And number 4, enhancing employee skills or training programs. The next is dealing with increased demands for employees. When an organization anticipates an increased needs for employees, the traditional approach has been to recruit and hire new permanent employees. So it means increased demand for employees occurs when a company experiences a surge in business, leading to a need for more staff to meet customers' demands, production requirements, to other business objectives. Strategies to meet increased demand. Number 1 is recruitment. Hires new employees either temporarily or permanently. Number 2 is temporary staffing. Utilize temporary or contract workers. Number 3 is overtime. Ask existing employees to work extra hours. And number 4, training and development. Upskills existing employees to meet new demands. And number 5, process optimization. Streamline processes to maximize efficiency.
Dealing with a declining need for employees. So there are also cases in which an organization needs fewer employees. Like for example, an organization is dili tanan or nga time is imo ang business is mas stable siya at a higher position, which is kinahanglan po nimo nga ang imo ang empleyado is imong kuhaan kay due sa imo ang hapit na agi sa mga kuan niya, hapit na mabankrupt imong company and you need nga makuha ng mga tao. So there are cases nga need nimo mag-decline or mag-decrease sa imong employees in order for your business to sustain in that position.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rosal Jane Patoy, the second reporter. So now, the next topic is about strategies layoff. Strategies layoffs is about reducing the number of employees in the organization. So there are three types of strategies layoffs. The first one is distributive justice. Distributive justice is fair allocation of resources. So dapat every employees in organization receive the same number of goods. So example, in organization, dapat patas ang sweldo sa mga employee based on their position. And dapat patas po sila nga naabitay free healthcare and then rewards and other individual needs. So moto siya distributive justice. So let's proceed to procedural justice. Procedural justice means the company organization having a clear and fair process. Example, in organization, if I'm the manager, tagaan ako promotion tung karapat-dapat. Tung karapat-dapat bitaw siya nga ma-promote. Dili kay ang akong tagaan nga og promotion is kato bitong abi kay close me or di ba kaha kanang friend ming duha, so ako siyang i-promote tungod lang ana. So dili na siya pwede. Kinahanglan ang kinahanglan ang katong karapat-dapat jud ang dapat ma-promote. Moto siya kaning procedural justice. And then the next topic is interaction justice. It refers fairness and respect. Example, in organization, if you are the manager, respect your employees. Don't be rude when you are explaining your decisions in front of them. Treat them with respect and dignity. So moto siya kuan kining interaction justice. So the next topic is about contemporary challenges in HR. So there are two contemporary challenges in HR. So the first is managing voluntary turnover. Second, progressive discipline. So let's proceed to progressive discipline. Progressive discipline is a disciplinary programs to improve employees' performance in organization. So, ang progressive discipline is man siya ang pamaagi para ma-improve ang performance sa mga empleyado sulod sa organization. So, there are two types of progressive discipline. First, punishment. So, punishment is to correct the behavior of every employees. So, kaning punishment is para ma-correct ang behavior sa mga empleyado sulod sa organization. So, for example, the employee is always late in the workplace. So, they will be punishable. So, kung ang empleyado is always late siya sa trabaho, so, kinahanglan siya nga ma-punish para ma-improve ang iyang performance. Second, discipline. Discipline is consistently following the rules of organization. So, ang discipline is kinahanglan nga mo follow ka sa rules sa organization, rules and policies para makabalo ka kung unsa imong angayan nga buhaton or unsa kay ang mga rules sa organization. So, example, if the managers having a rules that don't be late, so must be on time. So, kinahanglan nga dili ka malate. So, kinahanglan nga sundon yun nimo ang patakaran sulod sa organization. So, that is discipline.
This figure shows typically disciplinary problems in an organization.
There are four progressive disciplinary. First is verbal warning. Verbal warning is a caution conveyed to the employee orally rather than writing. So example, if you are always late in your organization, manager meets and clarify the rules. So face-to-face nga mo-meet ang manager para i-clarify ang rules sa organization. So the next is written warning. Written warning is a formal written warning. Formal ni siya nga letter na ihatag sa imuha. So example, if you are continuing your lateness, the manager issued a written warning stated that follow the rules. So kung imo ra gyapon ipadayon ang imong sige ka late sa trabaho, so hatagan ka or isyuhan ka og kanang letter sa manager nga dapat kanang mo follow ka sa rules na ilang ipasabot sa imuha. The third step is suspension. So suspension, the employees are temporarily removed in the organization. So example, the employee did not follow the rules that don't be late. So pwede siyang masuspend sa iyang trabaho kung dili niya sundon tong ingon sa manager, gi-clarify sa manager nga dapat mo follow siya sa rules sa organization. So kung dili mo follow ang usa ka empleyado sa rules sa organization, which is gaagi na siya ng duha ka step, ya dili lang gyapon siya mo follow, so masuspend siya sa iyang trabaho. Then the fourth one, so the last step of progressive disciplinary is termination. Termination is the last step of punishment that employer may terminate their employment. So, example, if the employees doesn't improve despite of the previous steps, the manager terminate them in the workplace. So, kung dili lang gyapon siya ma-improve, bisan og gaagi na siya atong tulo ka step, so pwede nang makadesisyon ang employer nga i-terminate sa trabaho ang empleyado nga dili mo follow sa rules sa organization. For example, katong ganiha nga akong giingon is kanang sige siya og galit. So bisan og nag-agi pa siya tong tulo ka step, wala gihapon siya ni follow sa giingon sa manager nga dapat mo follow siya sa rules sa organization. So ang manager pwede nga makadesisyon nga i-terminate siya sa trabaho. So there are 3 types of termination. So the first one is voluntary termination. Sa voluntary termination is kanang ang usa ka empleyado mo voluntar nga mohawa sa organization. Sa second is involuntary termination. So, ang involuntary termination is ang manager mismo ang mopahawa or mo-terminate sa usa ka empleyado sa organization. So the third one is mutual termination. So, mutual termination is kanang nagkasinabot mo sa imong manager. For example, ako, usa ko ka-employee sa usa ka organization, nagkasinabot mi sa manager nga muhawa ko sa organization, which is pwede ko nga mo hatag og resignation letter nga nagpamatuod nga muhawa ko sa organization. So mao na siya mutual. So mo to siya 3 types of termination. The next topic is employment at will. Employment at will is a concept in labor law where an employer can terminate an employee's jobs at any time, for any reason or no reason at all, with or without notice. Meaning is, ang employer pwede niya ma-terminate ang usa ka employee sulod sa organization naman siya rason or wala. Dayon, ang empleyado pod pwede po siya mohawa sa organization bisan og dili siya mo provide og reason or notice sa organization nga mohawa siya. For example ani is ang manager. Ang manager pwede siya maka-terminate sa usa ka empleyado bisan og wala siya reason or naa. For example, gi-terminate niya ang empleyado, it's because dili siya fit ana nga trabaho. So mao na siya employment at will.
So, good evening everyone. I am Jeffrey Pandakita and I will be reporting employee retention. So, employee retention, sometimes the focus of HR decisions is on ways to retain valued employees instead of ways to terminate employees, undeserved employees. So, and this means na instead nga imong pang tatangon to mga undeserved employees, imong itang balik to mga empleyado before or sa previous company or sa iyong company, previous employees na ano silang ibalik na kabalo ka katong mga tawhana is na atos life skills when it comes sa pagkakuan sa inyong company, pagpadagan or in handling those finances and other company matters. So, muna siya sa employee retention. And then, managing voluntary turnover, managers cannot always control who leaves the organization or why they leave, but they should not assume that all turnovers is negative, even in the case of voluntary turnover. So, kaya siya, masabot na dyan nato siya nga, dinita ng pag-turnover or dinita ng mga muhawa is makontrol nato and dinita ng muhawa sa ato ang company is negative siya, which is, katong, for example, na isa ka tao nga papulan kaayo and then may decide siya nga muhawa. So, dili siya losses ninyo. Instead, na siya positive nga katong tawhana nakahawa siya kay more siya nakakos sa inyo og mga losses sa inyong company, nakakos o delay. So, dili siya all the way, all the time nga negative. Tapos siya positive outcome. So, model of the turnover process. So, cause of job dissatisfaction. So, mo na siya ka na ang number one cause dyan ng mag-turnover sa mga trabaho is job dissatisfaction. And then, thinking about leaving, looking for alternatives. And, looking for alternatives is gusto ka nga kanay mo ang position is di ka ganahan and then mangita ka na ang position niya mura ganahan ka ana para lang jud ka mahawa but dili man jud nimo makuan nga kana po niya alternative way is ma-fit ka or ganahan ka so mahawa jud ka and then mo na siya mahawa ka and then compare alternatives so intention to quit and actual turnover so ang intention to quit is kana na siyang dili na kamo istukuan kanang dili na kamo sa trabaho and then ang kanang intention jud mga unda na jud ka ba kanang imo jud mahatag ko ng practice sa imo ang trabaho and then actual turnover it's kanang imo na siyang ikuan turnover nga na jud formal nga ang kanang sir mo quit na ko ani nga akong trabaho kay ana ang ingon ana so mo na siya actual turnover and then the causes of job dissatisfaction. So, number one is nature of the work. So, one of the most important sources of dissatisfaction on the job is the nature of the work that a person does. So, ikaw ka ng, for example, is ka sa company, and then, ikaw ra isa ka tao or sa inyong ang organization or sa inyong company is ikaw ra isa ang taga Mindanao which is ang uban is taga Luzon sila kanon and then kanang kuan ura kang i-lockdown nila and then sa nature food daw kanang dili sila gusto mag-socialize mo and then kanang murag you feel kuan na lang kanang alone ana ikara isa jud dili ka na i-affect sa socialization and mo na po siya cause of job dissatisfaction nature of the work or another example is kanang sa imo ang trabaho is dili ka ganahan jud sa imo ang kuan position ato na kay kuan and then second pay and benefits so kani siya masabot na jud nato ang pay and benefits kung kuan ko muhawa ka kay laki ang sweldo is gamay and then ang benepisyo po is gamay ra po siya dili siya pareha sa ubang kuan ubang organization dako sila benefits like ragod na siya sa public o private ang sa private na merong benefits ang sa public is dagkong benefits and dako sa sweldo and then 3 is supervisions and co-workers. Supervisors and co-workers represents two additional potential of source of job dissatisfaction. So, kanang siya, kanang sa inyo ang company is kanang bitaw, urag ka na imong mga co-workers is, urag gusto nila nga, sila ang head pa sila nimo or taas sila nimo. Open na siya yung naka-cost o kanang job dissatisfaction nga. Sa inyo ng office, tanan head, gusto mo yung head, So, mo na siya cause po sa job dissatisfaction kanang naka-cause of job dissatisfaction kanang supervisors and co-workers nandiyan na sila and then Next is the effects of job dissatisfaction. So, ang effects ani is decreased mental health and decline in mental health can manifest in various ways, including persistent low mood, apathy, rapid mood swing, and changes in sleep or appetite. So, kanang mo na siya kanang job dissatisfaction is kanang di nakaganahan, sa puto na ka, and then hindi ka katarog tulog, and then kanang di ka ganan mo kaon. So mao pa na siya effects sa job dissatisfaction. And daghan pa na siya, but kani ra gid ang mo ang hatag diri nga examples. And then measuring and monitoring job satisfaction. As should be clear by now, job satisfaction is extremely important to managing workforce size and effectiveness. So karon jud dapat is kanang bitaw atong i-measure or ang HR or ang HR hands is or officers or isa'y tawag anak nila is dapat ila siya i-measure kung nasatisfied ba ang employees sa ilang trabaho, and then if wala pa nasatisfied, what are magama sila o kanang open forum which is allowing all employees to open up and let their voice be heard para bitaw kung sa mga itong di nila ganahan silang trabaho is ma-less na to siya and ma-improve kung usay ang ganahan sa iyang trabaho. And then retention strategies. The purpose of discussing job satisfaction is to provide insights into how to manage voluntary turnover. So mo na siya ang purpose sa mag-discuss og job on job satisfaction para bitaw maubos ang katong mga muhawa sa company, and then mas mudaghan ang mo-employ sa inyong company. Mo na siya purpose why we need to discuss job satisfaction. And then last is managing human resource during mergers and acquisition. Managing human resource during merge or acquisitions is the last issue we address concerning decision regarding the size and nature of the workforce. So, kanin siya is mo ano siya ang pinaka-last na i-discuss when it comes sa organization. Kanang sa workforce, like kanang mga concerning decisions regarding the size of bitong kung unsa ka bugata imo ang trabaho ana. So mo na siya i-last i-discuss kay ang primary jud na i-discuss is more on finance, kanang pays and benefits yun na, and then kanang kabuatan na aman dyan sa trabaho, pero mo na siya less na nga discuss sa HR or sa meeting. So and that would be all. And that's the last of our slides, and thank you everyone and good evening.